All right, welcome back to One Bar and Lupaugs Show. I am Lupaugs, and today we're going to talk about the Vikings free agents who have yet to find new homes, who are still sitting out there waiting for that phone to ring to see who will give them money to play for them in 2021. Some of these names are not surprising one bit, while others are a little shocking. So before we hop into that, be sure to subscribe, like the vids. We are about 65, 69-ish away from giving away that beautiful sauce print. So be sure to drop hashtag sauce in the comments to get a chance to win the beautiful print of Jimmy Klein salsa. All right, so Minnesota Vikings free agents who have yet to sign. The big one and the obvious one is linebacker Eric Wilson. This guy I really thought would have been like a day one free agency signing, but we're about 10 days in now, and he has yet to get a sniff. This guy's coming off a season. He had 122 total tackles, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, 8 tackles for loss. The guy was a beast. He was all over the field for the Vikings. Really, he was trying to do so much. He was trying to make up for so many shortcomings on that defense. And then I thought he'd be getting a huge payday. I think many Vikings fans thought he'd be getting a huge payday, and here he sits, nothing. I don't even think he's had a visit that I've heard of. A lot of teams would make sense for him. One that really jumps out is the Denver Broncos. They have a needed linebacker, George Patton, former Vikings. I don't know what his role was, but he's in the front office. Definitely knows how good a player Eric Wilson is. He could bring him in and fill a huge need for the Denver Broncos, giving them some more draft flexibility there at the 9 spot. The Jets would make sense as well. There's so many teams that can use Eric Wilson. The fact that his phone is not ringing is pretty damn shocking. But he'll get something eventually here. Maybe he's going to settle for one of these 1-year deals, like you saw Anthony Harris get, and Will Fuller sign for a 1-year deal. Who knows? But we'll see what happens to Eric Wilson. But the fact that he's still out there is shocking. Let's move on to Jaleel Johnson, defensive tackle. No surprise, he's still available. This guy's been nothing but a disappointing turd in his career. He did show some flashes toward the end of the 2019 season, maybe thinking in a contract year, you'd take the next step and really earn a big payday. He failed badly to the point where the Vikings went out and spent to bring in an upgrade in Delvin Tomlinson. So Jaleel Johnson, I'm sure he'll get picked up eventually. He's still relatively young. Some team will give him a shot. But right now, things are pretty quiet around the Johnson camp, which isn't shocking, just seeing how disappointing he's been in his career. The old versatile lineman, Bush Brett Jones, is still out there to be had. There was some talk about some teams showing interest. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head who that was. But I mean, when this guy did get in there last year, he played well. So he does give you really flexibility across the entire offensive line. I think you could plug him in just about anywhere if you had to, and he could hold his own, at least for a while. But Brett Jones, I think he'll find a home. Next guy is Todd freaking Davis. Todd Davis dancing down at Party Boys. Todd Davis was a guy me and One Bar both wanted to Vikings to bring back with the signing of Nick Vigil, or the eventual signing of Nick Vigil. Is going to probably put a damper on that. But, for a guy who came in off the street, I thought he played well as a run stopper. He's horrible in coverage. Let's not kid ourselves. But the guy can come up. He can lay a hit. I think he played well enough to sign with the team, or at least get a shot. So Todd Davis, maybe he's one of those closer to, maybe sometime in June signings before training camp starts. But I do think he will find a team, at least get a shot to make a team this year. Dakota Dozier is still out there. Not sure why anybody would have any interest in Dakota Dozier unless you're converting him to a D tackle. I think that's where his future might be in the NFL. Amir Abdullah, for a team needing a kick returner and a 3rd, 4th back, you could do worse than Amir Abdullah. I was pretty hard on this guy a couple years ago, but he kind of won me over the last couple of years. We actually used him more on offense last year than I thought we would have. Didn't do a whole hell of a lot as a returner, but he gives you that flexibility. So not only is he a good returner, decent running back, he's a good gunner on special teams. He can fly down there and make the first tackle. Great will still at his age. So Amir Abdullah, I think, will sign on eventually. He might have to be one of those guys that there's an injury or something, and then his phone starts to ring. But we'll see what happens with old Amir Abdullah. Sean Mannion. The Vikings have yet to bring back Sean Mannion. It just feels like it's going to eventually happen. It's probably why there's no rush. No one's going to be calling Sean Mannion to be their backup. And the Vikings probably know that, so they're just going to sit and wait. Maybe they wait till after the draft to bring him in. Maybe they look and maybe they do get that mid-round draft pick to groom as their backup quarterback. But right now, Sean Mannion, he's out there, and I would be shocked if he's not a Viking. I don't want him to be our backup. I think he brings nothing as a backup, but he'll be cheap, and that's maybe what the Vikings are looking for at this point. And then he's not technically on a team anymore. Well, none of these guys are, but Dan Bailey was cut. He's a guy who I don't think he'll be getting offers in the spring here. I think he'll probably have to wait to someone's kicker goes down in training camp with an injury, hamstring, something like that, or just totally has the yips. Then maybe Dan Bailey gets another shot. But he was so bad last year. I think every team in the NFL is aware of that. I don't see him getting a sniff at all unless it's an emergency situation, preseason or sometime during the season. But I don't think Dan Bailey is going to have a new home until sometime next year in season. All right, that's it. Those are your Vikings free agents who have yet to find a home. If I forgot anybody, which I'm sure I did, drop them down in the comments. Again, be sure to always throw in the hashtag sauce to get your shot to win the beautiful Jimmy Klein sauce or print. I think it will look lovely on any bedroom wall. But until then, guys, remember, always keep your skull in your hole.